Hi everyone! Lots of people asked me about being vegetarian in Tokyo, and it was something that I was worried about before I first went. So I thought I'd make a video to share my experiences, and I've dressed for the occasion in my Say No to Knife Crime t-shirt, which you can get from my website cakeswithfaces.co.uk. So being vegetarian in Tokyo is difficult, but it's not impossible. I don't eat meat or fish just because I don't like them, and I've been to Tokyo several times and survived. In the UK, it's standard for restaurants to offer a vegetarian option. Even if it's something really boring, you know there'll be something. However, in Japan, that's not the case, and the word vegetarian isn't always understood. If you eat meat and just want to avoid fish, or if you eat fish and just want to avoid meat, you'll be okay. It's if you're avoiding both that it's a little bit more difficult. The main problem is dashi, which is fish stock, and it's a major ingredient in Japanese cooking. My main advice is to avoid meals with soup, like bowls of noodles in a soup, because they'll almost definitely contain dashi. It can also be in sauces and salad dressings, so just try a little bit before you pour it all over your meal. Try not to worry about it too much. I know it's really hard, but if you're always thinking, is there dashi in this? What am I eating? You're just not going to enjoy your food. So I try and go with the rule of, if I like it, I'll eat it. I'd also heard lots of bad things about katsu being on everything. Katsu are fish flakes. They take a dried tuna that looks like a bit of wood and take shavings off it and sprinkle them on top of meals, but I really didn't see them that much. They had them at an okonomiyaki restaurant I went to, but you could choose whether to put them on or not. And I also saw them on takoyaki, but that's octopus, so you're not going to be eating that anyway. Plastic food models. The good news, if you don't speak much Japanese, is that most restaurants display their meals outside or in the window as plastic food models, so you can see what the options are before you go in. And lots of places have picture menus too, so you can point to order and say kore o kudasai, which means this please. Kore o kudasai. Lots of places have English menus, especially in touristy areas. I didn't eat anywhere that didn't. In the back streets, smaller places are less likely to have them, but you can always ask, Eigo no menu ga arimasu ka? Is there an English menu? Eigo no menu ga arimasu ka? Japanese food is the most difficult. If you go to restaurants serving other types of food, they'll more often have something you can eat. A good tip is to go to department stores, which often have 1 or 2 floors of restaurants at the top. They tend to have English menus, and it's a good place to look. There's lots of Italian restaurants that usually have margherita pizza or spaghetti with tomato sauce. Indian restaurants often have vegetarian curry options. That's not the case with Japanese Katsu curry places, which are almost always meat. American-style burger restaurants sometimes have a veggie burger. And then there's fast food. Freshness Burger have a veggie burger, which is pretty good. Moss Burger have a veggie burger too, and I've not tried it, but I've heard you can replace the meat burger with the soy burger, so that could be something to try. McDonald's don't currently have a veggie burger, but you can have fries, milkshake and the sides if you get stuck. Japanese food. If you travelled all the way around the world, of course you want to try some authentic Japanese food. Unlike in the UK, where Japanese restaurants tend to serve a bit of everything, in Tokyo I noticed they tend to specialise in just one style of food. Sushi! Some places have options but don't expect a lot of variation. I had one meal where I just ate kappamaki cucumber rolls. You'll also see tamago, that's egg, daikon, radish and natto, fermented soybeans. Avocado in sushi is less common, that's more of a Western thing. There are a couple of places that are recommended for vegetarians, like Genki Sushi, which I went to, and you can see it in my video. It's such a fun place. Ramen. The soup will almost definitely contain meat stock or dashi, so you need to go somewhere that serves vegetarian ramen, like Chabiton, which I made a video about as well. Katsu. I haven't seen any katsu curry restaurants with vegetarian options. It's always pork and shrimp, which is a shame because I'd love to try an authentic Japanese katsu curry. At chains like Koko Curry and Go-Go Curry, the sauce contains meat, so you have to go to a vegetarian restaurant like Tea's Tantan in Tokyo Station. I've not been, but it's on my list for next time. Just after I filmed this, Koko Curry announced they're now serving vegetarian curry in selected branches, including several in Tokyo, so I'm really looking forward to trying it. Okonomiyaki. At restaurants where you make your own at the table, you can choose what you want to put in, and you can easily ask for a vegetarian option if it's not on the menu. If you're not sure, always ask before sitting down to avoid embarrassment. Not everywhere will be able to provide a vegetarian option, and sometimes they'll think something's vegetarian even if it isn't. Convenience stores. Unlike in the UK, in Japan, convenience store food is really good and cheap. I go there pretty much every day for breakfast and sometimes for lunch as well, and they're everywhere. Look for 7-Eleven, Family Mart and Lawson. You can enjoy all the bakery treats, melon pan, dorayaki, mochi bread. They've got fruit and salad and packs of edamame, which is really good if you feel like you're not getting enough fruit and vegetables or you're not being that healthy. Onigiri rice balls are the equivalent of sandwiches, and there's a couple of vegetarian options. There's wakame, which is seaweed. Now I did read somewhere that this one contains fish, but if it did, I couldn't tell at all, and I wouldn't have eaten it if it tasted of fish. There's plain onigiri, which is just rice and salt. Sounds really boring, but it's actually pretty good. And plum. And you can sometimes find vegetarian sushi as well, like inari nigiri or natto rolls. Onigiri are a bit of a challenge because all the labels are in Japanese. If you can read hiragana and katakana, you can understand them at a basic level, enough to pick out the vegetarian ones, which is what I did. If you don't read Japanese, do some research, print out the labels and match them up. How to ask if there's a vegetarian option. Vegetarian desu. Niku to sakana ga taberarimasen. Nanika ga arimasu ka? I'm vegetarian. I can't eat meat or fish. Is there something? Vegetarian desu. Niku to sakana ga taberarimasen. Nanika ga arimasu ka? It might not be the most polite or eloquent way of asking, but it's got me by. Of course, you might not understand the answer, so another option is to print out some cards. You can find them online, print them out and point to the phrases, which is a good option if you don't speak any Japanese. Ask them to take the meat out or modify something that's already on the menu. For example, if you see a yakisoba fried noodles dish, you can point to it and say, "Yasai yakisoba wa daijoubu desu ka?" Would vegetable fried noodles be okay? Yasai yakisoba wa daijoubu desu ka? Again, I've heard lots of stories about chefs refusing to do this. Not everywhere will be able to do it, but it's worked for me. Have the side orders. Some places that don't have a vegetarian main meal will have vegetarian sides. Once I went to an izakaya, that's like a pub, and I had chips, edamame and pickled cucumbers. And curry restaurants will often have rice or salad as sides. It's not a great meal, but it works if you need it. And especially if you're travelling with friends who do eat meat, it's a way for you to all eat together. Plan a few places to go. Keep an eye out during the day, look at all the menus and find somewhere you like so you can go back when you're ready to eat. If I don't have a plan, often I end up walking around for ages, just tired and hungry, and I just want somewhere to eat. So I'd really recommend, before you go, doing a bit of research and planning out a couple of places as a backup. So if you're hungry and you just want somewhere to eat, you can go there. Remember that places can be difficult to find, so print out a map or pin them on your Maps app so you can find them. All this is based on my experiences in Tokyo. If you're going to a more rural area, it might be a bit more difficult, so do some research before you go. I know a lot of this probably sounds like a lot of effort, but it totally is possible to survive as a vegetarian in Tokyo. I know vegans that go there as well, so don't let it put you off. If you've got any questions, just put them in the comments, and if you know any good vegetarian restaurants, put them in the comments too so we can all try them. Have a look on my channel for more videos about Japan, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!